Hey YouTube, Rob the Movie Collector here again, bringing you another video. Today I'm doing content entry into DrHasslein's competition. My good friend Kevin, he's running a competition at the moment and he has some great prizes and asking some very great questions. Definitely a great YouTuber, one of my good friends on here, and I do love watching his videos. I think he makes great videos and does really great reviews and awesome taste in movies. He always finds movies I've never sort of heard of before, and they always sound really interesting. So definitely, not subscribe to him, definitely give him a sub. I'm pretty sure most people already subbed to him already, but if not, go and do it. Go and do it now. So yeah, you asked 3 questions and giving away 3 prizes. I think in some ways those prizes do relate to the questions. So one of the prizes was a really awesome Godfather trilogy box set, really great edition, which I do actually own, but it's around the corner a bit. I'm not actually displaying it at the moment because it's rather large. So I think the question for that relates, to that one, would be, what's your favourite trilogy of all time? That's a really great question, hard question to answer because there's a lot of great trilogies out there. I do have a list over here though. When you've got obviously the big ones like Star Wars, the original movies, and Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future, Indiana Jones, I suppose, if you don't class the 4th one, which a lot of people, I'm sure, don't class that as a movie. So it's technically a trilogy, I guess. I don't know. I always was a fan of the Bourne movies too. I always sort of find them good watches. Not necessarily the best movies ever, but I do quite enjoy them. There's actually four of those movies, but the 4th one has a different lead actor, so that doesn't count, I suppose. I don't know. What else have we got here? I think probably, Aliens is probably one. That's probably my favourite sort of movie franchise of all time. Again, there's technically 4 of those movies, but I'm not a huge fan of the 4th one, so I guess can class that as a trilogy. They're definitely great movies. I think just all 3 of them are sort of the different movies, so different directors and have a different direction in all 3. I think, but definitely my sort of favourite franchise of all time. Another one probably have to be that probably a lot of people aren't going to talk about necessarily would be the Toy Story trilogy. That's a really great. They're great movies as well. Just sort of fun and sort of funny movies, and a great sort of revolutionary sort of CGI animation at the time. That was one of the first sort of movies that had sort of done that sort of CGI. Not necessarily the first movies, I suppose, but definitely ones that sort of showed off what you can do with sort of CGI animation. They're just really sort of fun movies. I think just good sort of story and just similar sort of premise, I suppose, in some ways. Kind of like that saying that if a tree falls in the forest and there's no one there to hear it, it doesn't make a sound, type of thing, which is similar to the Toy Story, I suppose. That's probably a weird way to relate it, but anyway, if but the toy room and whether what happens when no one's in the room, when there's no sort of adults or humans in the room, do the toys come alive, and what do they get up to, type of thing. So that's just great sort of premise, I think, really. So they're great movies. Second prize was the Goonies Steelbook. I think the question for that one would have to be, well, the question that relates to that would be, what's a movie that sort of defines the 80s? That's another sort of tricky question. I do have a list here though, of a couple. I think probably the Breakfast Club would probably be a good one. That's sort of definitely sort of sort of school sort of kids movie that sort of define the 80s. I think you could sort of different decades like 70s, 80s, 90s, and the newer sort of ones all have this sort of the one film, I suppose, that would sort of define sort of the school movie. Sort of kids in school and what do they get up to, sort of thing. And I think probably Breakfast Club would probably have to be the one for the 80s in terms of that school movie, I suppose. I'm not explaining very well, but you know what I mean. Like, one sort of movie about kids in school, I suppose, that defines that decade, which I suppose would be The Breakfast Club. Then you got Dirty Dancing, which is probably one of the most sort of famous, popular sort of 80s romantic movies of that decade. So that's another great movie, which I need to sort of buy on Blu-ray. Actually, I don't actually own that on any sort of physical copy yet. There are sort of two movies I have sort of chosen. Both have a similar sort of premise to them, I think. They're both sort of about, well, one was, the first movie was Wall Street with Michael Douglas and Charlie Sheen. And the other one was American Psycho. So they're sort of similar. You know, all set in the 80s, all about, you know, Wall Street bankers. I definitely do like American Psycho. That's probably one of my favourite films, actually, that one. I really do like that one. Yeah, sort of when just sort of during the 80s when sort of the yuppies, I suppose, you know, ruled the world, and you know, the whole sort of Wall Street thing was really sort of popular during the 80s as well. But definitely, I think American Psycho and Wall Street are definitely defined the 80s, I think. And the third prize was the Halloween Steelbook, which I think relates to the third and final question, which was, what's your favourite horror sequel? Another sort of hard question to answer. I'm not sort of a huge sort of horror fan, I suppose. So it's a bit hard to answer that one. But I guess, I mean, some people do class, you know, the original Alien movie as being a horror movie. So my pick would have to probably be Aliens. That's probably my favourite sort of sequel, horror sequel, I guess. Yes, they're my answers to the three questions. Hope they're okay. Big thanks to Kev for running the competition, and sort of give him a sub if you're not subscribed to him already. And I think that's it. Yeah. So thanks for watching. I'll be back very soon with another video because I've got a few more videos I want to make. So yeah, I'll be back very soon. But for now, yeah, bye.